So what have you seen as a school governor and as a councillor in terms of how this particular cohort, they've had a tough time, haven't they? They were locked in their bedrooms pretty much on and off for 18 months. How do you think they've coped with this period running up to these particular exams?
Yeah, I think really I have complete sympathy with all the pupils having their results today. Of course, we saw in your report just then that lots of students are feeling anxious. To be honest, I think that results days are always anxious. I remember feeling really anxious with my A-levels and GCSEs, as did everyone else. So I think really it's... I think the difference probably is now there's a lot of pressure after COVID. But that's, of course, because we've also had the grade inflation, so there might be sort of a heavier expectation on young people to achieve higher grades because maybe their peers in the years above did so. But actually, I think, from what I've heard as a school governor and as a councillor, young people have coped well. And just as long as they realise that, academics are not everything, there are plenty of other ways you can prove your worth as a student. And also, university is not everything either. Plenty of other opportunities like apprenticeships and just going straight into work suits some people far better than academics do.
Do you think we've gone wrong a little bit with that? Because it was kind of Tony Blair's government, wasn't it, that introduced this idea that the majority of students, rather than the minority, should go to university. And it feels like we're still kind of recovering from the fallout of that, with lots of kids who end up going to uni that probably don't necessarily benefit from it and now come out with a whole lot of debt.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So Tony Blair had the target to send the majority of children to university, and then a few years ago, Gavin Williamson, as Education Secretary, removed that target. I think that was a great decision. Look, people who can go to university and can flourish at university should absolutely go. But what I've been saying for years as a school governor is that if you are not someone who thrives in an academic environment, which is completely fine, you would be far better off actually avoiding the time spent at university and the debt you incur as a student, and actually looking at something like an apprenticeship or like going into an entry-level job and working your way up there. So I think, it is a mistake that we almost, as a society, we see university as this kind of paragon of achievement, when really actually some people would do far better if they looked at other routes. And I think it's good that actually the government is today encouraging those other routes.